Everyone around CBS is talking about this CNN Anderson Cooper study that they did. They looked at the social media of about 200 eighth graders and found that they are extremely worried about what people are saying about them online, and that they check social media 100 times a day. So I reached out to Nicole Scwarz. She is a parent coach, which I love. She is also a licensed marriage and family therapist, which we need. Nicole, welcome to Studio B on KMOX.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So when we think about eighth graders, really young people, we'll broaden that, checking social media 100 times a day. What they found in that study right away was there's a lot of anxiety about what's being said about them. You're not surprised by that at all?
Not at all. You know, I think all of a sudden you're measuring who you are against the number of likes you get or the number of comments and whatever the comments say. So that can get to you over time.
One of the things that you talk about a lot with your clients is the anxiety that young people are facing today. A part of me thinks, I'm 53, that we felt it too in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, but somehow it's different now? Or is it not different?
No, I think it is, only because I think it's so immediate and it's so, it's just everywhere with us. So we might have cared about it before, but now it's in our face.
Right in our face. And we can go find it now.
Right. Yeah.
Before I had to wait to hear that someone was talking. Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Exactly.
Right. There's no grapevine.
How does a parent know that their child is dealing with anxiety, whether it's from social media or something else?
Right. So I think you just want to be watching for changes. So any changes in sleep, any changes in eating, just kind of changes in what they are wanting to do. Maybe they're feeling more isolated or not engaging. I mean, some of it's normal teenage stuff, but when it's over and above, I think you'd want to start looking at that.
So if they used to like to go to the movies and now they don't want to go anymore, that is maybe a sign.
It could be, sure. Also, you know, sometimes there is anxiety if you don't have your phone or if they're not connected to their phone. And so if you see your child maybe feeling kind of panicky or looking kind of, you know, if they don't have access to social media, that might be another cue that
here's a difficult one, Nicole, because I have one son who, he's 19 now, and he was never a talker. He's not a talker.
Right.
A 15-year-old son who is a talker. Right. So for parents who, we recognize that when kids become teenagers, their communication with us can change. Yeah. That's just that normal teen stuff, right?
Right, sure. Yeah, and I think it's still important to push it a little bit and open up that communication, even though they might not want to. Not in a pushy way.
They don't want to. They don't want to talk to us.
But we need to be talking, at least putting it out there and letting them know that we're wanting to open up the conversation about it.
I like to give my friends, sometimes we share with what works, you know, what works with my child and what works with their child. So I like to give them actually words that I said that did work. So when you say push it a little bit, open up the lines of communication. Right. When I know what has not worked is saying, hey, how was school today? Right. That doesn't work.
Sure.
Hey, what are you feeling? That doesn't work. What are you thinking? That doesn't work. Right. What questions do work, Nicole?
I know, and it's hard to generalize, but get into their world. I mean, figure out what they're into, what they want to talk about. You don't want to dive into what are you feeling. You know, they probably don't want to start there. But,
that's off the table.
Right. Good for you to try it anyway. I mean, I don't know. There's a big concert coming up. Or what are your
Taylor Swift
doing?
was here.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, why do you like Taylor Swift?
Right. Or if you haven't heard their music,
play some Taylor Swift for me, and let's listen to it together.
Right. Instead of saying I hate your music or I don't want to hear it or whatever, and already setting up those.
Okay. I haven't said I hate your music, but I have said my son is into video games, and a lot of teenagers are.
Oh, sure.
And I've expressed a lack of understanding for why do you spend so much time? And suddenly I guess I sound like I'm 110.
Right.
So we don't want to, what are you doing on there, young person? Not what we want to do.
Probably not. And you don't have to like it. You don't have to enjoy it. You don't even have to play it. But getting into their world a little bit before you start talking about the serious stuff, about the stuff that's going on, about, what people are saying about them and how they do feel about their social media presence. Sorry.
No, that's okay. The thing that we, I guess as parents, we want to recognize, not that we agree with it, but to recognize is how much their friends' thoughts about them matter.
Right. They really do, unfortunately. And so, yeah, opening up that conversation too.
I remember I asked my son some months ago, somebody was a friend and the friendship has changed, and he was like, hey, we just, we don't have classes together, it's no big deal. And I'm just like having nightmares about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that goes back to not assuming too. I mean, and just acting, it's okay to not know or not understand. Say, wow, I'm kind of surprised that you're just so easygoing about that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm being taught here.
But I think it's just, again, just wondering, because you can have a totally different opinion.
Well, and we would, as parents, we feel like we would have a totally different opinion. One of the big questions that one of our coworkers wanted me to ask was, it's about screen time. Big battle, and we have this as well, about how much screen time our kids should have on their phone, on their laptop, on the computer, whatever it is they're doing. And is it as simple as, she says it's a constant battle, is it as simple as just saying, screen time's 5 to 6 and that's it?
I guess it depends. If that's how you want to run it, I'm a big believer in opening up the conversation like we've already talked about. And so sit down and say, listen, we need to have some screen-free time. How are we going to build that into our life?
Okay.
So
we're not going to focus on what you're not going to do. Let's focus on what we will do.
Sure.
Which is a good way to flip it, I
usually
guess.
It goes better than setting these strict rules, and then kids kind of, they're going to push anyway, but they might push less if they're in on the conversation. Let them in, on how we're going to make this run in the family. Because honestly, some of us are just as guilty of being on our phones and our computers as much as the kids.
She just nailed me.
So making it a family thing rather than just you get off your screen right now kind of thing.
How do people get a hold of you? Because you're online as well.
I am. Actually, my website is imperfectfamilies.com.
We should have started there. Because we are all imperfect families. Imperfectfamilies.com.
Yep.
Nicole, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for
we're going to stop taping, and I'm going to keep talking because I've got many questions about raising my teenagers. Maybe you do as well. You can send them to us or go to imperfectfamilies.com to meet up with Nicole Scwarz. More Studio B at KMOX.com.